Radio Hot Country Kissin' 99.3. How do? Welcome in. Here comes Tuesday. I got your coffee ready. It is 6:05. Coming up in just a few minutes, details on how you... My name is Bear O'Brien. I'm a morning radio personality on WKCN FM. That's Kissin' 99.3 here in Columbus, Georgia. It was 1978, and I had been traveling around Manchester, Georgia, which is where I was born and raised. And I would go in a 3-county area, and I would take out a portable disc jockey thing. We called ourselves Discos by Nico. And a good friend of mine, Jeff Tate, he was the general manager of WFDR there in Manchester, which is our hometown radio station, which in my mind, I had always wanted to work at it. Whenever I was 13 years old, I was there for a couple of weeks. They just let me push buttons, and they finally asked me to leave because I was way too young. But at least I knew how bad I wanted to be in radio. And he needed somebody. He didn't care if I was good or I'd ever had any experience. He wanted somebody to come do that morning show. Well, he asked me if I'd like to try out, and I did. And it was a dream come true for me because I'd always dreamed of radio. Because I was not interested in Atlanta radio. I could hear Atlanta or Columbus and Manchester, but for some reason Columbus was my dream. If I could just get to Columbus and work with those radio and TV personalities I'd heard and seen all my life, then I would have made it. I finally got to Rennes, Georgia in 1981, late 81 I believe. It was my first FM station, and that was amazing because everybody out there knows the difference between AM radio and FM radio. And that kind of got my feet wet and got me excited about being in FM radio. And it took a while, but we finally got to Columbus in 1982. To get me away from that and start me on the path of becoming an announcer, a personality, someone that could just talk to you, just have conversation, would be WCGQ. We called it 107Q. It's called Q1073 today. And that was the station where I had some of the best program directors. Ralph Carroll is one of my best friends. He was my program director, and we would have conversations. He would say, man, you're doing great. I just need you to tweak this or tweak that. I need you to get a little better at this or a little bit better at that. So if I had to put this in a nutshell, I would say that being at 107Q from 1982 to 85 actually shaped my career. That's what got me on the right track. In the late 80s, I was doing pretty well in radio. I was doing well in Columbus, Georgia. But my parents were going through a divorce at that time. I was going through a divorce at that time, and it really took a toll on me emotionally, everything about the negatives in my life. And I actually started taking it out on my audience. I found myself getting upset about things, and I would think it was funny to put somebody down, or really, I attacked my audience a lot. A lot of folks just thought, hey, it's pretty cool, he's funny, and I'm okay with that. Some people got upset. It was just time to take a break. So when I did, a lot of comedians that I'd known, some pretty big time comedians that I'd known in the business, had told me when they came through town and would come into the station, we'd get to know each other, they'd say, you should try comedy. The main one would be Frankie Bastille, who has passed away. But he always said, if you ever need to get in or you want to try it, give me a call. So I did. And he got me an audition, and they put me on the road the following week. As a matter of fact, I opened up for Richard Belzer from Law & Order. He was still doing comedy at the time. I opened for him, spent a week in Lexington, Kentucky opening for him. So I got a good start in comedy. But as far as the life-changing event, here's what happened. I knew that I just didn't want to be in radio. My life was just going in the wrong direction. And as a Christian, I knew there was something else going on. I was not supposed to be in comedy. I was not supposed to be a comedian. I was not hilarious. I did okay. I worked for almost a year and a half. I did 28 states in comedy, and I spent a lot of nights where I was in hotel rooms by myself, and I kept looking at myself in the mirror. And one night I started talking to myself. My real name is Wade Collier. I play Bear O'Brien, but Bear O'Brien had actually taken over my life, and I was upset with that person. And I started yelling at this person, and I ended up in tears talking to this person in the mirror, and then realized that this person had not met the Lord and did not know the Lord, and I needed to get my life straightened out. So the person I portrayed on the radio was the same person I am for real. And so there was a time there where I was on my knees talking to God, begging him to put it all together for me, and he did. That was the greatest life-changing experience for me, because after he did, then he pulled me out of comedy. I just decided, hey, I'm not going to be good at this. I'm walking away. And that's when I started in country music. And it's like God just kind of put me back in and said, look, why don't you do it the way I want you to do it this time? And I think you're going to be a lot happier. Well, he knew exactly what he was doing because he always does. That was the greatest life-changing experience for me, and it happened in 1991, somewhere in Minnesota. Once I got my feet on the ground and realized where I wanted to go in this business, I actually just wanted to do something with my life and with my career and with my talent and leave something for my kids to remember and my grandkids, so I could just make a mark on the business. So later on, as I got a little older, my desire was to be in the Hall of Fame, the Georgia Radio Hall of Fame. I really wanted to reach that goal. I really didn't even know there was a Georgia Radio Hall of Fame per se until I think it was about 2008 or 2009. A guy that had done real well from Columbus, he called himself LJ the DJ. His name was Larry James, and he called me one day. He said, "Man, I've always listened to you, and now that you're back in Columbus, I believe you need to be in the Hall of Fame." I said, "I didn't know we had one." And he said, "You have to be nominated, so I'm going to nominate you." And he said, "You're going to have to get on the radio and tell people to go become a member so they can vote for you." I said, "What does it cost?" He said, $25. I said, "Larry, I'm not comfortable asking people to pay money to vote for me." I didn't get in that year because I didn't promote it. I didn't want to talk about it. I was so honored that LJ nominated me. I just didn't know how to work for it. So all these years after 2008, I thought I'd really messed up and I'd never get another shot at it, but I'm glad I did. Earlier I mentioned Ralph Carroll, one of my best friends in the world. He's given me advice my whole career, even though I wasn't working for him. He nominated me. Again, I had no idea it was coming, but he sent me a letter one day, or an email rather, and said, "I need some information, I need your bio." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because I've nominated you to go into the Georgia Radio Hall of Fame." And I went, wow. But it took about 6 months. We sent it all in, they accepted the nomination, and then it came down to that night in October 2019. But the family went with a few close friends, and we all sat at the table, and when it came time for my category, there were, I think, 17 or 18 of us, and if I had had to wait till number 8, I'd have passed out. There's no way I could have handled the pressure. But I was the third name called, and I was able to take a deep breath and go up to the podium and make what I thought was a silly acceptance speech, because they do allow you to. I was hoping they would, and I felt it was kind of silly, but a lot of people liked it, and I don't think I've ever had a feeling like that. I don't think I'll ever have a feeling like that again. It was a feeling of accomplishment after, at that time, 41 years in radio. It's nice to be there. It's nice to know my name is in the Georgia Radio Hall of Fame, and it will be forever. It was the most humbling thing in the world when you think there are only a few people, that are going to be in that Hall of Fame, and there's been so many people, to come through Georgia, and to know that my name's going to be there. It was very humbling. I looked at some of the greatest talent, people I've been listening to my entire life, sitting right there on that stage with me, and to know that my name will be in there with some of the greats. It really is just a very, very humbling experience. So I'm really glad it happened when it did, after I mellowed just a little bit, and not back when I thought I was somebody, because it took me 43 years to realize I'm just a disc jockey. I'm just a redneck with a good job. I really don't feel like I want to retire. I feel like if I ever retire from radio, I don't know what I'd do. I'd probably sit at home and just wither away. I don't have plans to go RVing and go see the country. I would like to. This would be perfect for me. I would love to do the thing I love the most. That's the 4 hours I'm on the air from 6 to 10 every morning. I love relating to my audience. After all these years, I still look forward to it. Every day I look forward to going in and having conversation on the phone, saying things that I can elaborate on the air. I love my show. So if I could ever get somewhere, I would call that retirement. That would be great retirement for me, to just kind of mosey on into the station every morning, fix me a cup of coffee, sit down, talk to the audience. I wouldn't mind doing talk radio. I don't know how good I would be. I'd love to just talk to the audience for 4 hours, and then at the end go, "All right, y'all, this is Bear O'Brien. Had a good time. God bless you. I love you, and I'll see you after a while."